Hi there. This is Dr. John Whitcomb talking about oxidized LDLs from linoleic acid are the real cause of heart disease, not cholesterol. Can you explain that? Yes. First of all, linoleic acid, what's in seed oils, 50% in corn, cotton, soybean, canola, all of those oils are 50-60% linoleic acid. We absolutely have to have linoleic acid at 0.5% because it's critical for making membranes in our mitochondria. We'll get to that next week. But linoleic acid has two double bonds in it, not one. Oleic acid, which is called olive oil, has one double bond, but linoleic has two, and they're only separated by one carbon. And they basically, each one makes a 30-degree angle. So you have two 30-degree angles that are quite close to each other, which makes a 60-degree angle. And that pushes the electron clouds that are surrounding a molecule up kind of against each other. It's like two negative magnets pushing. That molecule is quite happy to pop out. Well, the reason that's there is because the double bond underneath is critical for helping many enzymatic reactions. So nature had to use the double bond in its electrical. But the problem is now you have these fields that are pushing against each other. Add just a little bit of heat and they pop out. And that opens up the double bond and oxygen gets in. Linoleic acid is oxidized incredibly easily. Just exposure to air will do it. And linoleic acid that's once oxidized gets itself into LDL particles. Turns out that LDL particles with cholesterol in them are harmless. Cholesterol by itself is never, ever oxidized. There's nothing to oxidize on. There's no bond that's open to be oxidized. But linoleic acid gets oxidized, and there is a whole range of published research that D'Angelo Antonio and O'Keefe have published in BMJ Open Heart, titled The Linoleic Acid Hypothesis for Heart Disease. But it's summarized as it takes an oxidized LDL for something to stick to the wall of an artery. It takes an oxidized linoleic acid for the LDL to get into the artery. It takes oxidized LDLs for foam cells to happen, that folks with coronary artery disease who have high oxidized linoleic acid in their atheromas, they're the ones who progress, whereas ones without it don't progress. On and on and on. There's like 30 pieces of evidence. It's linoleic acid that's causing the problem, not the cholesterol. The cholesterol's there in the particle, but it's the linoleic acid that's on the outside of it that sets off the dysfunction. What will work for me? It's time for us all to rid ourselves of linoleic acid. Your standard purchased salad dressing isn't any good for you. Your mayo isn't any good for you. French fries at a restaurant are particularly wicked because they're all cooked in high heat seed oils. Get rid of those. Start eating different kinds of food. Safe fats are butter, lard, coconut oil. The olive oil's got one double bond, but it doesn't oxidize super easily. So olive oil's probably okay too. Get the drift? That's the real driver of heart disease. And the problem is we're caught in the maw of a giant economic machine pushing cholesterol on you. That's not going to change you. Your cholesterol treatment won't fix things. It's getting rid of linoleic acid and reducing oxidizing stress, and then plasmalogens repair the damage by the oxidizing stress. Nitric oxide helps you repair. Then you're getting back to normal. So, Dr. Whitcomb for News and Nutrition, get rid of the linoleic acid. That's the enemy.